Growing up, I had dreams and aspirations, but always felt like the kid that didn't fit in. For the most part, I wasn't a bad kid, but when I made the transition into adulthood, I turned to the streets for guidance. This led to getting locked up in juvenile hall, doing time in CYA, and eventually a 120-month sentence in federal prison. I had a lot of time to think and reflect during my federal sentence, so I share with you what I learned, hoping I can positively influence someone else's life with Prison Talk.
What's up, everybody? Big Herc, fresh out. You tuned into another episode of Prison Talk. We thank you guys for your support. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button, pass this channel along to your friends, and check out our website, FreshOutSeries.com. We love to hear from you. You can subscribe, leave a message. Also, if you got a question, hit us up at FreshOutSeries@gmail.com. Also, going down with Fresh Out is June 21st, we're going to be in Pomona for the Vans Warped Tour. So if you're available to stop through, we'd love to see you, do a meet and greet, and we'll be doing our thing at one of the tents there. So we look forward to hearing from you. On to the question. Big Herc, just like all your other YouTube subscribers, I love your YouTube channel and videos. Somehow your content never gets old and is always good. I have a question about racism and prison. After being basically forced to be a racist in prison, how do you switch that mindset after serving 10 years? Every other race is out to get you in prison, so how do you not view other races with hate now that you are back in society? The feds and the state are very different. And I've mentioned this before in other prison talks, but in the feds, I was able to network outside my immediate race. I had white friends. I worked out with some white guys, some Peckerwoods. You know, we used to work out on the yard together. They were big motherfuckers, and I was a big motherfucker. I had Asian homies in there from Laos, from Korea, Philippines. I had a friend in there, Mexican. You know, he was my cellie. I had a Mexican cellie. I had a friend that was biracial. You know, he used to kick it with us. And, you know, we just did our thing. The feds was all about educating ourselves, learning about business, preparing ourselves for when we got out so that we could all be successful. And so, although we didn't necessarily sit at the same tables at lunch or dinner or breakfast, we would have study groups where we got together in a law library and we learned about real estate, we learned about stocks, we learned about the law, we learned how to write books, we learned about how to write movie scripts, we learned about all these different things. And, you know, that's how we got out in there. So it wasn't as bad like in the state where you have, you know, the white boys can't touch a rail because a black guy touched it. You know, you can't talk to this guy because he's Mexican and you're black. You know, it wasn't that type of situation. You know, you couldn't kick it. Certain dudes didn't kick it with you like that, but there were exceptions, and the way we carried it, it was just a totally different program. I broke a lot of protocol in there, and I opened up a lot of doors, and I did get some blowback to some degree. You know, some of the brothers used to hate and say different things. They were mad because I was able to make money doing legal work. But then these same brothers would come back and ask me through my Mexican friend to do their legal work, because they knew that the Mexican guy who was my cellie would bring the paperwork to me, and we would be doing the legal work together. So it was a lot of bullshit. And I never had any type of extreme racism in my heart. My stepdad is white. My brothers, I got a brother and a sister that's half white, half black. My wife is white. My sister's married to a white guy. You know, I grew up on a military base. I had Filipino friends, I had Mexican friends, I had white friends, I had Asian friends. So I never had an issue with racism. In prison, I didn't buy into it. That's the thing. Most of these people buy into it. If the people going in there didn't buy into that shit, the guards, the warden, they wouldn't have any power over you. That's how they control the prisoners, through racism. And they push that shit, and they love the fact that they can keep all the races separated and allows them to maintain control, but it's all bullshit. So I never bought into the racist aspect. So when I got out, I didn't have to try to get back into society and adjust the way I looked at people and get rid of the hate in my heart, because I never had hate. You know, I'm a way above that. I'm on some other type shit. I'm operating on another frequency, and I always have been. And even when I was in USP Lawn Park, and I was talking with guys who had 5 lives, they would come and holler at me. You know what I mean? And dudes used to tell me, man, watch out when you're talking to those lifers, man. You don't know what their intentions are. But these guys would talk to me, man, and they'd be like, damn, Big Herc, you was out there doing your thing, blah, 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 blah. You know, Dominican dudes, Cuban dudes, you know, black dudes, white dudes. They would holler at me. And I would tell them I'm just passing through. That was my mentality. I never bought into the convict inmate type bullshit. I was just passing through. The guards used to see pictures on my wall of exotic cars, exotic places, you know, big houses, and they used to be like, oh, you think you're gonna get all that stuff when you get out? I'm like, yeah, that's what type of guy I am. I'm about it. You know what I mean? This is nothing but a temporary detainment. You know what I mean? I wasn't gonna get out and just be an average Joe. No, I got out and did my thing. So I didn't never really have to deal with racism to that extent. I've seen it. I've seen a lot of guys that participate in it, but it wasn't something that I entertained. So I hope that answers your question. But you know, everybody's different, but for sure the feds and the state are very different. If I was in the state, you know, I would have been subjected to a lot more politics, and a lot of the things that we did in the feds, we wouldn't have been able to do in the state. And, you know, but that wasn't my path. So, you know, whatever your path is, you follow and you figure out what it is. But my path was to break a lot of boundaries, and to share this channel with you guys, and to be a positive influence, and to show that, you know, you can think outside the box, and you ain't got to be a product of society per se. You can create your own reality.
Lockdown's over. Get your yard time in. Exclusively at FreshOutSeries.com.